What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the episode of Unfiltered Convos, and today we will be discussing Vanderpump Rules that aired this week. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll probably rate this episode a 7. It was not really much to the episode, it was just a regular episode for me. We started the scene where we saw that James was preparing for his pool party and him and Ali were in the backyard fixing up and stuff for the pool party. And then we had the other scene where we had Ariane and Katie as we saw them, they were getting ready for the pool party. And in this scene is where we found out that Ariana, the Lyft driver that she had the other night, was pretty much the same Lyft driver that she had from the night that she found out about Rachel and Sandoval. Which I don't know, for me, that would be very like very dramatic. Like I don't know how I would have handled a situation being like you're in a different space in life and then you end up with the same driver from a dramatic night before. That must be really mind blowing at this point. But yeah, so we found out as well that they both won't be going to Lake Tahoe because they're trying to get the shop open. And while yes, they're trying to get the shop open, I just think to me that was just pretty much an excuse to not go. Um, But yeah, that was pretty much that. Then the other scene is we saw where Lala and Sheena while on their way to James' party. We saw where they went stop by Lisa's house because she wanted to speak to them about Sam Sandoval's mental state. And she basically says that she wants the group to kind of ease off of him because the fact that she lost her brother to the same thing. She doesn't want the same thing to happen to him, and the fact that they could have done something differently and it's like they didn't do anything. So she wants the group to kind of ease off. Where we saw where Sheena stated that she doesn't really necessarily get depression from him, it's more like he's projecting. And the fact that she spoke with him the night before and the way how he was supposedly trying to apologize does not give off someone who's remorseful or apologetic per se. And we saw where Lala also stated that he has been going around saying that she's not being real, she's not showing her life, whatever the case is, and she gets the same energy from him where she doesn't really get someone in a dark place. It's more like typical Sandoval. The other scene we get where it's now finally James' pool party, and we saw where Lala talks to Ali about James' sobriety, which I understand that James is her friend and she would like to know what really made him decided to get sober. But I don't know, sometimes to me it's like she gives off this I am better than because I'm now sober. So I'm hoping that she's coming from an actual genuine place where she's trying to find out what pushed him to become sober because sometimes her behavior in certain scenes when it comes out to someone drinking and stuff, it's as if like because you don't drink anymore, so you are on this higher basically, and the fact that they're still drinking, it's like they need to figure shit out. We saw where she also apologized to Schwartz because the night before the two of them had their back and forth. And this scene was really cool because I like the fact that it was to the side, it wasn't in front of the group, and I like the fact that they both apologized and it was mature about the conversation. It didn't start it here and then it started to go up here. I'm happy that it wasn't like a Sandoval apology where it's more pointing fingers instead of actually apologizing. So I like that that scene was really, how it's was supposed like really genuine. We saw as well where Sheena decided to tell Katie and Ariana that she just came from Lisa and Lisa is worried about Tom's mental state. And we see where Ariana don't give zero fucks. Like she doesn't feel like he's really in a mental like state of mind because she feels as if like he's just doing this to where he wants to once he's back in the group, it's like he accomplished what he wanted. And sometimes I feel that way as well, where just going around and saying that you having thoughts and all of that, I don't know if it's real. I'm hoping that you're not milking the situation and saying these stuff, knowing that persons out there really struggle with stuff like this. But at the same time, we see what he's doing now, where he's comparing his situation to George Floyd. So it's a year, close to a year after, and you're still displaying the same characteristics. I don't see any growth. I don't see any remorse. I don't see any changes. So it's kind of hard for us to lay off of him. And I don't know if he's just doing this for the attention. I don't know if he feels like Scandival is practically died down. So he's just doing something to bring back the attention to him. But yeah. And that's the same thing I get from Sheena as well. Like, I understand she was friends with him and I understand um her standpoint, but at the same time, each episode I'm keep getting like she's like me. She just wants the attention to her, and that is what I'm not liking from it. Like, I don't see where she is supposedly that same standpoint where she was a couple months ago when it all broke out. She was on her podcast week after week discussing the situation and how she's team Ariana and and she even had a conversation with him where he himself was not necessarily remorseful of the friendship being broken up or anything. So I don't understand how now you're crying about it as if like he was such a ride or die for you and now you are so sad that you lost this friend. Like, I don't see where this level of, should I say, like care basically you're having. I don't understand it. Maybe further down I'll understand it, but for now it's like, what are we doing here? Then we got the next scene, which was overly dramatic, which was Tommy and Billy, where they were doing some ice bath thing. She literally didn't do anything. She just stood to the side and made facial expressions. I don't know what the point of this scene was. I don't know what he learned from it. I don't know what the whole point of going under the act. I don't know what it was. And then we found out as well where he says that he misses Raquel and he wants, I guess he really loves her and whatever the case is. But yeah, I don't think you really miss her. I think you want that same level of attention. Like, you did this thing, it came out, it blew up, where everybody's talking about it, and I think you want to keep that same momentum. So you want you and she to be out, hanging out, being around each other, being around the persons in the group to keep that same narrative going and the spark and the whole excitement of it. But after a while, it's gonna die. It's gonna. I don't think the relationship would have even lasted any longer. And if it does last, kudos. And again, if it does last, it's probably forced because of the storyline that you guys are trying to keep up. The next scene we got where we saw James, he visited Lala at her house. She asked him why he decided to get sober, and he stated that during the time when Scandal broke and the fact that he was so emotional regarding the whole situation, it caused issues within him and Ali's relationship. And because of that, he didn't want, because he really values the relationship he has with her, so he decided that he wants to, you know, cut the drinking. And also, it's not for just a relationship, but also for him because he's seen it in his professional life where him not drinking, he's able to show up for work on time, does his work effectively, and so forth. So I'm hoping that he keeps on that same path and it's not necessarily just doing it for someone else or for someone, but yeah. Then we finally got to see Joe. Joe decided to come out of the closet and she basically is cutting Schwartz hair. And then we had Sandoval who decided to stop by where Schwartz had invited him to Lake Tahoe. This for me, I'm really hoping to see how this is going to go down. But at the same time, I would love to see him actually do a proper apology and not do the same thing that he did for the last two episodes. Because this blaming someone or pointing fingers is not the way about it. I am hoping that, as Schwartz said, for him to bring his ego down and stuff, he actually does that and not necessarily continue to still bring off the same I apologize but energy. The other scene we got where we saw where Sheena was preparing to go to dinner with James and Ali, and she had her friend Tori come over for help, but at the same time she brought her sister as well to assist. If I was Tori, I would gotten up and leave because this is not like the second time that you're asking me to watch your child and you're bringing someone assist or to be there in the background. I find that disrespectful. I understand you have your anxiety, but that has nothing to do with me. And I wouldn't feel comfortable, especially that you're friends with her. This is not like some random you found to come and watch a child. You said you're friends with her for how long? Why are we still bringing persons in to overlook what she's doing? I don't know how I don't know if the girl wants like a screen time, so she doesn't have a problem with it. But I don't like that behavior or her blaming it on the anxiety and thinking it's right for her to do something like that because I'm sure she herself, if she was a babysitter, you would be disrespectful. Like you're getting paid or whatever to come and watch someone's child, and each time you're watching their child, they're bringing in a relative to be there. Then let the relative watch the child. Why am I here? They reached at the dinner where we saw where Sheena decides to talk about her conversation she had with Lisa regarding Tommy's mental health. James doesn't seem worried about it. He doesn't worry about going on the trip either. He's just taking it by ear, where Sheena seems like she's more worried than anyone. And here we go, Sheena kind of putting everything back on her. And then she decided to find out from Schwartz if he decided to bring Sandoval on a trip, which she then confirmed that he's coming on a trip. And she is more worried. I don't know why, but she's more worried than everybody else. Then we see where James decided to visit Lisa. He thought that he was going to have a convo with Lisa regarding the same thing about Tom's mental health and trying and letting the person know to back off. But no, Lisa had a surprise for him, which was Graham. Was it a surprise? That's left to the audience. For me, it doesn't seem like it was a surprise. It seems like we all knew this was coming, meaning James knew it was coming. Yes, he was still emotional about the dog returning, rightfully so, but I don't see where this seems real, but only time will tell. But that was the episode. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below what you thought about the episode. How much would you rate the episode? Please remember to like the video and also to subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you next week for another recap of Vanderpump Rules. Bye!